And a big hello to all of you as we begin yet another year for 2023, and I give you my annual update video as to what you'll be expecting from Trash or Treasure during 2023. I feel like I haven't quite fulfilled every one of my promises just yet during the last couple of update videos, but I will try and make 2023 the year that I will do all of the stuff I've missed, and also just to further increase the amount of views and subscribers that I get, just to, get it going a little bit faster and keep the channel going, because ever since I've done the Persona reviews, or at least finished them, the views and subscribers I have, they're all right. The numbers are okay, but I feel like they could be a lot better. Surprisingly, even after doing Shin Megami Tensei stuff, those have been doing okay as well, but just not quite reaching Persona's levels, because I imagine because SMT is not quite as popular as the Persona series, unfortunately, even though it's got some good titles in there. There's also the fact that Soul Hackers 2 is currently the most recent game in the Megaten series, and that game didn't really sell particularly well, so that probably might have dampened the stuff a little bit in terms of Megami Tensei stuff. But I guess before we talk about some of the actual review stuff during 2023, we should talk about just streaming and just what we'll be expecting from that during 2023. So at the moment, we're currently doing a Dante Must Die run of Devil May Cry 5. We've done 3 parts on it now. Should hopefully get it done within the next couple of parts, assuming my skills aren't trash, which they probably are, as if you've seen my battles against Urizen that I kept losing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I'm also going through the hard difficulty on Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. It's just me doing those streams, not just me and Jude, unfortunately, because Jude has absolutely no interest in SMT whatsoever, which is perfectly fine, but I hope you guys are enjoying those streams as well. They're all on Twitch if you want to keep a lookout for those as well. I'll be posting on Twitter and Facebook and the YouTube community page as well, just whenever I do a new part, so just keep an eye out for that. Finally, the co-op streams are not happening anymore, unfortunately, after doing Cuphead and the Lego Harry Potter one, which I hope you all enjoyed. Mainly because Jude is now currently in university doing a prop making course, which is sort of his forte, it's his passion, so wish him the best of luck for that, and whenever he does get a chance, I'm sure we'll be back at the co-op streams eventually, probably starting with Dark Souls Remastered, because we've gone through quite a number of them, and that's probably one of our go-to co-op games at the moment. We're currently going through Elden Ring as well, and about 30 hours in, and yeah, Jesus Christ, that game is huge. That is freaking huge. We're going to be at that game for a long while. So yeah, after Devil May Cry 5, we'll be doing Catherine Full Body, doing a hard mode remix run of that game, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. And then after that 2 short games, we'll finally stop beating around the bush and do our Persona 4 Golden streams. Not sure yet whether I'm going to be doing an Izanagi only run like I did with the Arsene only run of Persona 5 Royal, or if I'm just going to have an AI party member, sort of like having Persona 3 rules where the party acts on their own accord, but you control the protagonist. You control you, basically, as in you control YU. I'll let you guys decide which one you think you might be more interesting. Personally, I'm sort of more leaning towards the AI party, because I don't think anybody's actually done that before, whereas I've seen quite a few people do an Izanagi only run, which seems like it does get pretty overpowered by the time you hit the 5th dungeon, because the shuffle time gives you stat increase cards that will probably power up Izanagi in no time flat. So as I say, I'm more leaning towards the AI party, but what do you guys think? Put it in the comments below if you would like to see that, or if you would like to see just a regular Izanagi only run, or an entirely different challenge. Who knows? Also, whenever we get a chance to get Jude back here on camera, and also our sister Robin, we'll be doing more Humongous Entertainment streams, which I was really pleased to see that you all actually had fond memories of those games, and you actually knew what they were. So I was very pleased about that. They were some really good games from our childhoods, and it was such a blast playing them again after so many years. It was nearly 20 years since I played those games, so I definitely want to to go back to more at some point. Just maybe do it in between the other runs that we got going on. So that's all the streaming stuff out of the way. So let's talk about the actual reviews that are coming for 2023. So as of right now, I am working on the Bayonetta 3 review, which I hope you all are looking forward to. The editing is going to be starting soon, pretty much. I'm just currently editing out mistakes in the voiceovers I've recorded, but if you want to see my thoughts on Bayonetta 3 early, the script I've written is on my Patreon page, so I do go and have a look at that. It's only roughly around $1.50 a month to subscribe to Patreon, so by all means, have a look at it. You'll have access to the Bayonetta script for basically no extra charge at that point, and on top of that, you get a credit at the end of the video, so that's always a bonus, right? Once the Bayonetta 3 video is all done and out to the public, the next couple of videos are going to be going back to Resident Evil at that point, because we're very close, in theory, to getting the Resident Evil 4 remake soon, at around the end of March, I believe, unless it does get delayed, which I imagine at this point it wouldn't surprise me, because we haven't really had that many trailers or advertisements for it, so that kind of suggests to me that the game isn't quite ready yet. But then again, Bayonetta 3 didn't have that much advertising, and yeah, that game still seemed complete, so who knows? Maybe Capcom are just sort of keeping things in the dark right now. But yes, it'll be Resident Evil 0 that we'll be doing afterwards, as the last of the classic Resident Evils that we have left to do, aside from the Outbreak PS2 games, which I believe are online anyway, so it probably won't even matter at that point. And then once that's done, we'll be moving on to the new era of Resident Evil games with Resident Evil 4, the original game. We'll be doing that just before the remake comes out. And I imagine by the time I do finish that, the remake will have been out. So the video after that will most likely be the remake and just sort of comparing and contrasting how similar and different it is to the OG Resident Evil 4, similar to what I did with the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. That will be the point then where I will conclude my Fire Emblem marathon at long last with 3 houses for the Switch. That's going to be probably the biggest project I will ever do. I'd imagine it'll be maybe an hour long, given how many different paths and story beats there are, and just there's so much to talk about with that game. And yes, as I mentioned in the Fire Emblem Warriors video, I am unfortunately getting a little burned out with Fire Emblem, so that'll probably be the last one for at least a little bit. I have done one playthrough of Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and I started a little bit of a second playthrough as well with the Black Eagle house, but I have not gone back to it since, because the game is quite a grind. It does get very repetitive, and it's so long. It's such a long game too for just one of the story paths. But so far with Fire Emblem Engage, which just came out not too long ago, like a few days ago. I'm really enjoying that. I've only put a few hours in, but I'm already sort of more into that than I have been with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I should mention that Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is not a bad game. It's just, with how much there is to do in a Warriors title, it's just like it does feel like a bit of a grind after a bit, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Fire Emblem Engage and Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes will unfortunately have to come at a later date when we do a little more Fire Emblem and I'm feeling a little more refreshed. I'm sure I will get pretty far in Fire Emblem Engage at the very least, but I don't know if I will even finish it in a short amount of time. The same goes for the re-releases of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, which also just came out a couple days ago at this time, and I've been very much looking forward to playing that, but sadly Atlus has yet to actually give me a code for both games. I'd be happy to just get Persona 3 Portable more so than Persona 4 Golden, because I live in the UK and they usually give out American codes, so that's I can play it on my American account, but I'd rather just keep it on my main one, if that makes any sense. I'm hoping to get P3P on Steam and P4G on Switch anyway. But yeah, for some reason they haven't given me codes for it yet. and I'm not really sure why, because I've been whitelisted on the website you do get codes on, called MoveIt. I was whitelisted for both Soul Hackers 2 and the PC re-release of Persona 5 Royal, so I'm just not sure what's going on there, especially when a lot of other Megaten YouTubers have had their codes already, so it's a little bit of an odd situation at the moment, so I might have to shell out my own money on that, but I'll just wait a little bit longer, see what happens, and then when I do get the games, I will talk about I will do a looking back at video rather for Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, similar to what I did with 5 Royal, basically just sort of giving my updated thoughts and pretty much just talking about the differences in the remasters. Persona 4 Golden, I've not really heard anything about in terms of differences, but I've heard mostly negative things about the Persona 3 Portable one, mainly the AI upscaling, which personally it doesn't really bother me that much because it's a port of a PSP game, so I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. But there's also the lack of manual skill inheritance, which it does kind of suck from the sounds of it, but that's something I can potentially live with. However, the audio also seems to be a bit more compressed and crunchy for some reason than it was in the PSP one, at least based on what I've seen of the Awakening scene from either Makoto Yuki or Katone Shiomi, aka FMC, who finally gets a friggin' name, thank God. But yeah, I'll go further into that when I actually play it. This is just based on what I've seen online, and I don't really want to be judging the port without actually having played it, because all the Steam reviews I've been seeing have only put in maybe 1 or 2 hours into the port and already left negative reviews, so I feel like that's kind of unfair for a Persona game. I want to at least give it a little more of a chance than that personally, but I'll get further into it when I do the looking back at video for it, and which I hope you're all looking forward to. One other thing I did also mention, either in the last update video or the update video before, I can't quite remember unfortunately, but I was going to do a Smash Brothers video, just basically talking about all the games in one big package pretty much, as part of the 10th anniversary for my channel, but now that's going to have to be the 12th anniversary of my channel because I haven't gotten around to it yet. I was originally just waiting for all of the DLC characters to come out, which they all have now. They're all here, so now I have no excuse to not do the Smash Brothers video. So I will hope to get that done sometime this year as well, and I hope you all enjoyed that as well, because Smash Brothers is quite a big game to talk about, really. Just the whole entire series, I should say. But yeah, well, that's going to be a heck of a long video. And speaking of ideas that haven't truly come to fruition yet, I still need to go through the classic Tomb Raiders again, which I have recorded, but I also need to revisit those games as well, just to give it another shot, just sort of give it the proper Trasher Treasure treatment I didn't do over, well, nearly 10 years ago now. Those videos are nearly 10 years old. God damn, where did the time go? But yeah, I will definitely have a look at those games as well. At least the first one. I don't think I'm going to be doing a compilation video again like I did with the Tomb Raider 1 to 5 review. Like, I won't be doing like 5 games all in one go, basically. As I say, I do have the footage for all 5 of the PS1 titles, but I'm going to be maybe dedicating a video to each of them, because there's a lot to talk about, surprisingly. Even though those games are similar in concept, they are different in a number of ways, in just enough a number of ways that they can sort of feel distinct to each other. So yeah, I will be starting off with the 1996 game, with the square-boobed Lara. Yeah, we'll talk about that, and we'll revisit it, and I'll give it a fair shot as much as I can, because I do understand it is old, and yeah, there are some things that I do appreciate more than others in regards to the game's mechanics and the level design and such, but we'll go more into that eventually. And I suppose the last thing to mention is that Spider-Man 2, the sequel to the 2018 Insomniac game, is also, in theory, coming out this year as well, but we haven't seen any other trailers for it yet, so who knows, that might get pushed to a later date. But at the very least, we're gonna have a look at Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I want to talk about before we actually get to Spider-Man 2, because I imagine that's going to be pretty important story-wise, so I want to get that out of the way as well. And I'll also briefly touch on Spider-Man Remastered as well, just to talk about the changes there as well, and just to give some updated thoughts on that game as well, because I didn't go too deep into like the story or whatever, because it was brand new at the time. And if I feel that a story is not worth spoiling, then I'll sort of keep it light as I can, really. But yes, I hope you all enjoy the Miles Morales video as well when we get to it. And that just about does it. I haven't got any more games in mind, not unless there's some big surprise game coming out, like what happened with Soul Hackers 2, where it just sort of like popped up randomly and it was just like, oh, hello, you're there. But I hopefully that shouldn't happen again, but I will keep an eye out on games that I do feel are worth talking about and that you guys might enjoy as well. But as I said, I'm hoping to really increase the views and the rate of views and subscribers this year for my channel. So if you do have any suggestions as to what I can do to change the formula, or just to what I can talk about in general, just feel free to leave a comment below, and then I will have a look at them and then see what you guys think, and see if it might be a good idea. See if it might be a good idea to just make the channel even better than it already is. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty pleased with what I got so far. But you know, there's always room for improvements. So feel free to just leave some feedback here and there, by all means. Oh, and before I forget, because this did get brought up in one of my streams, 2022 did not see a Yakuza video during Christmas. So that was supposed to be Yakuza 3 as the next one, but there were so many games that were coming out at that point, I just did not have the time to get it all done, and didn't help that hours at work had lengthened as well, so I get a bit tired and just don't really want to be doing that much editing work and whatever, or script writing, just anything to do with video making, because I'm just wiped out. I would get a little bit done, but just not as much as I usually could. So yeah, I'll be back to normal hours soon, and then I'll hopefully be able to churn out videos a bit more quickly. But for the Yakuza videos, I'm afraid that's going to have to wait until later down the year, unfortunately. But on the bright side, I'll probably talk about Yakuza 3 and 4 as one big bundle, because they are very similar in a lot of ways, and also slightly not. But again, I'll go through that when we get there. But just please be a little more patient if you were hoping to see the Yakuza videos. But we'll get there eventually, I promise. And with that said, that is pretty much all I have to say about this year's annual update video. So I hope you all are looking forward to each of the reviews and streams we're doing, and any games that are coming out this year as well. If there's anything you're particularly interested in, let me know in the comments, either if it's for one of my reviews or just games in 2023 that you're looking forward to, or you are currently playing, like Fire Emblem Engage, as I mentioned earlier. That just came out. And what are your thoughts on the Persona 3 and 4 re-releases as well? How do you think those are holding up as well? And if it's your first time playing those games, what do you think of them? And does it make you want to play other games in the series? I'd be interested to know. But anyway, we shall see you later for next year. But if not, then hopefully we'll see you for the Bayonetta 3 video and any other future videos yet to come. So with that said, thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourselves.